Hello, aficionados. Welcome to the live stream, right? So, obviously, nobody is in the chat. My channel is not as big enough to have people following my live streams, but that's why I decided to do it. Obviously, this is my first live stream that I'm doing, and hopefully, somebody will be watching this later and enjoying themselves. Maybe they even tune in at some point. So, to set the stage a little bit, as you know, my channel is mostly about cigars, watches, and travel. I like to combine all three into the mix. And what better place to do the first live stream than this location? I'm here on my vacation with my wife, and we're on a small island called St. Andrew, or Red Island, in Rovinj. And right now I'm looking at the most beautiful sunset that you can possibly ever imagine in your life, and I'm gonna show it to you actually, because this is something that you all have to see. Right after this boat leaves, the boat which is heading to Rovinj every hour. Look at this sunset. Sorry about that. Look at this amazing sunset. This is the most beautiful thing that you will ever see. I'm definitely having some issues. Let's switch back the orientation. All right. The most beautiful sunset you will ever see. How about that? And if my DJI didn't fuck with me, it would be even nicer. Absolutely amazing, don't you think? So obviously, since this is my first live stream ever, I'm kind of hoping that from the technical standpoint it will go well. Meaning, I hope that you can hear me well, because there's a lot of waves behind me. But there shouldn't be any other noises. So what should we talk about? How about some cigars? Clearly I brought some with me on vacation. Quite a lot actually, 10. So I'm gonna be spending 10 days on vacation, so I figure I always need to have one for each day. Even though in the city, in Rovinj, you actually have a cigar shop that sells Cuban cigars. If you're following my channel, then you probably know that majority of cigars that I smoke are Cubans. If I don't smoke Cubans, then I smoke Davidoffs. And then if I don't smoke Davidoffs, I would probably on occasion go with Arturo Fuente, but probably no further than that. So Cubans is also mostly what I brought with me on this vacation. I see I have two people in the chat. Welcome. It's actually one again. This is gonna be fun. All right, I'm gonna show you this view again, once more. The most beautiful sunset that you will ever see. And there goes my fucking DJI. Mecklenburg Cuban cigars. Your sound's good and the video quality is great. Thank you, man. That's great to know. I'm probably gonna be struggling with this DJI for a while, so bear with me. All right, let's show some cigars. I just want to make sure I properly navigate this thing. All right, that should be straight now. Cool. Obviously we're gonna be smoking some of those cigars. There's some weight here, so that's why it's fucking around. All right, now I lost the weight, so that should be good. Whoever is watching this and whoever will be watching this, I suggest you grab yourself a cigar and smoke together with me, because cigars are most enjoyable if you smoke them with a company, aren't they? So what I have with me, let's start with non-Cuban. So this is Zeno Platinum. Zeno Platinum, it's actually called Chubby Special. This cigar is not produced anymore, and I got it from my friend who lives in London, and I promised him that I would be smoking this one on a special occasion. This might be it, but let's see what else I have and decide later. Xenos, obviously produced by Davidoff, Zeno Davidoff. Next one is also non-Cuban, and then it's the only other non-Cuban from all the selection that I have. This one is Arturo Fuente. Arturo Fuente Reserva Extra Viejo. I'm not going to be smoking this one. Cool thing about these Arturo cigars, Arturo Fuentes, this one is Anejo 888 MD. But what you can notice here, that it has this red band on the foot of the cigar, which means that it's actually a little bit stronger. And then you have the ones that have the red band, those are a bit lighter in strength. So if you're looking for a cigar and you want to go for Arturo Fuente and you want to know if it's stronger or lighter in strength, that's how you can tell. Other than that, we have some of my favorites. We're all obviously moving on to Cubans now. Partagas Serie D, number 4. Absolutely a classic. Always part of my humidor. Always here if I want to smoke very, very solid cigar. A bit stronger, but also very bold, and it's just a classic from Partagas. This is a Robusto Vitola. Robusto is my favorite Vitola. The thickness, the length is just what I find the perfect Vitola or size for my cigar. The next one is going to be San Cristobal Prado La Casa del Habano edition. This is the cigar I absolutely love, and I think I have 3 or 4 more left in my humidor, and I can't get them. I can't find any more of these. It's crazy. They're just impossible to find. This is a torpedo shape. It's a smaller torpedo than what you are used to, and it's just amazing cigar. Let's move on to some heavy hitters. Here we have Monte Cristo Open Eagle. So Monte Cristo introduced this open line. Mecklenburg says he also loves Prado and can't find them anymore. See? I don't know. I mean, you're probably aware that there's like a lack of cigars from Cuban production, but I wouldn't imagine that Prados from San Cristobal would be that difficult to find, right? It's probably because they're La Casa del Habanos edition, so they're sort of a limited edition per se. So that's probably why. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask my store where I'm buying cigars if they're gonna get them at some point. But yeah, very difficult to find. As I was saying, Monte Cristo, their open line is a bit lighter in strength compared to other Monte Cristos, and this was actually the purpose of their open line. They have 4 different Vitolas. They have Open Junior, which is the smallest one. They have Open Regatta. They have Open Eagle, this one. And they have another one which I can't remember from the top of my head right now. But Open Eagle is their biggest Vitola. I think this might even be Toro. I think that's Toro Vitola. I think it's 52 in ring gauge and 15 centimeters in length. Let's move on. You guys recognize this? I did the review of this cigar just a few weeks ago when I was on my vacation in Italy. So this is the Vegas Robaina Famosos. This is a Robusta Vitola, except it's not a 50 ring gauge but 48. So just a slightly lower ring gauge than Robusto. So that's why it's called Famosos, right? I'm a fan of Vegas Robaina lately. They've been making amazing cigars. By the way, I'm thinking of doing a video to share some of the Cuban brands that I am quite disappointed with lately. Yeah, that's also possible. And there are some brands that you probably wouldn't expect. Vegas Robaina is not one of those. I very much like Vegas Robaina, and they are great Cubans and they're great value for money. I'm sure you're aware Cuban cigars prices have gone up incredibly. It's beyond like any. I have another comment, let me read that later. The next cigar is also Vegas Robaina, but this one is torpedo shape. Can't remember the name from the top of my head, maybe someone can Google it for me, but I just acquired it like a few days ago and I still have to taste and try this one and review it. And then we have another Monte Cristo, which is going to be Wide Edmundo. Edmundo is the Vitola that you are probably also familiar with from one of my latest videos, also from Italy, where I was reviewing Edmundo cigar, except this one, not from Monte Cristo though, except this Edmundo is wide, meaning it has a ring gauge of 54, excuse me, and the regular Edmundo is 52. So it's a bit wider in ring gauge, but it's a bit shorter compared to the regular Edmundo. Edmundo is one of their mostly Unicos. Thank you, Mecklenburg. So this Vegas Robaina is Unicos. Yeah, back to Edmundo. So one of the most famous Monte Cristo Vitolas, except this is a wide Edmundo. Similar situation that Romeo and Julieta, for example, has with their Churchill line. They have wide Churchill, which would be equivalent to this one. They have short Churchill, which would be equivalent to regular Edmundo. And then there's also like Petite Churchill, which would be equivalent to Petite Edmundo from Monte Cristo line, right? And then the last one is absolute stunner, Cohiba Siglio 6. I think I have 12 of those in my humidor. Still haven't tried it. I wanted to age it for a bit. Now it's been aging for, I would say, probably a year. So it's about time I taste this one and review it. It's one of their most famous vitolas. Siglio 6. Absolutely beautiful cigar. And that's it. This is my second day on vacation, so I don't have 10 cigars anymore, I have 9. I already smoked Joyo de Monterrey Epicure number 2 the other day, which is a very light flavor, light in strength and floral notes in that cigar. So I hope you guys, whoever is watching this and whoever will be watching this, that you also grab a cigar and you're gonna smoke something with me. I suggest I do Montecristo White Edmundo today. Let's get this one and let's review it. By the way, the sun is coming down, and I'm gonna show you once again. See, it's basically going behind the sea, and it's just amazing sight, just amazing. There in that direction is Italy, somewhere where the sea where the sun went into the sea. Somewhere there is, I think, Venice. Another boat going to probably there, which is where Rovigny is, right around this peninsula. This island is actually amazing. It's like 2 islands, but they're connected with this path, and on both sides of it is beach. So it's absolutely beautiful. I go running in the morning, then I have a pretty good breakfast, and then beach day every day. So usually with cigars with this big ring gauge, as we said, this one is 54, I don't like to cut them with the guillotine cutter because they tend to, because of their width, they tend to crack maybe if you don't do it carefully. So I like to punch them, and they're actually perfect to do the punch because they're so wide, and you can be most precise with the puncher. So with this tool, I have a bit wider puncher and a bit not so wide puncher on the other side. I'm gonna go with the wider one because it's a pretty wide ring gauge. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Check the draw. A bit on the loose end. Let me see the chats. Michael, which cigar should I smoke next? I'm conflicted. Montecristo number 2, Dominican, or Oliva Serie V? Is it Serie V Melanio? If it's Melanio, then go with Melanio. That's the better one out of the two. I haven't had Montecristo number 2 Dominican. We don't have those in Europe. But if it was a Cuban one, then I would suggest Cuban one for sure, because that's just a classic. Dominican, fortunately, can't say because I haven't had it yet. So out of those two, I would go with Oliva Melanio Oui. It's not particularly windy here, so I'm gonna go with a yellow flame lighter because I want to make sure that the oils develop nicely instead of just toasting it and just pressing those oils. You don't want to do that. I mean, it's not wrong. Mostly people do that. They mostly light cigars with the blue flame, but that's very aggressive. If you have an opportunity to do it with a yellow flame, do it like that. Maybe I'm out of gas here, so I'm gonna have to go with that one. Haven't prepared right, have I? Let's see. No, it's here, but the wind is killing it. All right, let's save ourselves a trouble. No, the wind is killing it. Just regular cigar blue flame double. I don't want to over toast it, as I said, so I want to make sure that I keep the flame a bit further from the foot of the cigar. Not in a rush. I'm on vacation. I don't have to rush this. I want to make sure it's properly lit. Michael, vacation cigars are the best cigars. I agree, man. I definitely agree. A lot of leather in this. Wood as well. The aftertaste is almost like coffee, between coffee and cocoa. Very good. Just that Cuban profile is just amazing. Like, you can probably do the blind test of any cigar and you will be able to tell the difference between Cubans and the others. Not saying that the others are bad or anything like that, but Cubans, they just have that profile that others don't. I wouldn't say it's peppery or spicy, maybe just like tickling sensation on the tongue. Maybe it develops, we'll see. In terms of strength, for now it's not even medium. It's between light and medium, at least for my taste. Christian asks, where am I on vacation? So I mentioned it in the beginning of the video. I'm on an island called St. Andrews, which is in Rovinj, basically, in Croatia. So most of my videos where I'm filming like the beautiful scenery and vacation spots, they're in Croatia because I'm from Croatia, I live here, and we have the most beautiful coast in the world probably. I sometimes do a vacation outside of Croatia. For example, in June we did a vacation in Italy. the northern part of Italy. We went to Venice, we went to Lago di Como, so the Lake Como. But usually in August vacation is mostly in Croatia. We have so many beautiful islands, and the scenery, the sea is just beautiful. The beaches, like I was showing in the beginning of the video, I was showing the sunset. Maybe you can go back and see it. It's the most beautiful sight that you can ever see. Very curious to see how this cigar develops. I want to make sure it's burning straight. Funny thing, when you're smoking a cigar in the outside where there's a wind, if you keep it the same in your hand all the time, from where the wind is blowing, it's probably going to burn faster. So you need to remember to always kind of turn it around a little bit so you get an even burn. Just a trick to do. Also, what I'm curious about with this cigar is, as we mentioned, it's a very wide ring gauge, 54. And those cigars tend to get really hot because they're wide, and then the air inside tends to stay inside, and that's what makes it hotter. And when it gets hotter, it starts expanding. So when it starts expanding, then you might notice some cracks in the wrapper, which is what we don't want to see. That would be the worst thing ever for such a beautiful cigar. Construction-wise, I didn't comment on it, but it's absolutely perfect. There were any gaps or anything like that, and since the cold draw was a bit loose, I think that it still has some space inside to expand and not to crack on the outside. In comparison, like the very narrow cigars with the smaller ring gauge, the air cools down when you puff, and then it just never gets the opportunity to get hot because they're also a bit longer, right? For example, this one, similar to H. Upmann Magnum 54, the same ring gauge, that one tends to crack like a lot of times. What brand is your larger humidor? I'm assuming you ask me which brands of cigar I have the most in my humidor. So I like variety. I like to keep, so when I'm buying cigars, I usually like to buy, 10 cigars, let's say, and then 5 of each brand. So actually 2 of each brand. So 5 different cigars, 2 of each. If I haven't smoked it before, one is for review, and the second one is to age, and then smoke it within 6 months or so. Which brands? I was showing earlier Cohiba Siglio 6. I have like 10 of those in my humidor right now, 12. And then I have 4 Partagas Presidentes, for example. I don't have boxes of cigars. I don't know why. I just never got used to buying full boxes because, like I said, I like variety. I have like 70 to 80 cigars in my humidor, and out of those, I would say there's like 30 to 40 of them are like different Vitolas within a brand. Christian, I'm very new to cigars and just recently started my collection, and yesterday I had the Joyo de Monterrey Picker number 2. Good one. I had one as well. I have had it before as well. Very nice. Someone recommended for beginners. Exactly. I recommended it too for beginners because Joyo de Monterrey is one of the Cuban brands that's very different than the other Cuban brands. Usually Cubans are much harder in strength and not recommended for beginners. But Joyo de Monterrey is quite the opposite. It still uses all the leaves from Cuba, so it's a puro. So the filler, the binder, and the wrapper, they're all from Cuba, They're all from Vuelta Abajo region, where all the Cuban cigars leaves come from. But Joya de Monterrey is, I would say they're done a bit differently, so they don't have that strength. They have like very floral, like almost like fruity flavors, and they're very light. They're not too complex, but for beginners they're amazing. So guys, they just started to play some live music. I hope that you can still hear me well. Let me know if I need to speak a bit louder. A bit of a toast and nuts. See, what I noticed is on the first like 2 or 3 puffs, the cigars is always very different from what will become eventually. So like I said, first few puffs were leather, almost a bit like a spice, and now that's completely gone. So now there's only like woody notes and also like nuts. Hazelnut, I think, but definitely some nuts. And there's no that tickle sensation on the tongue anymore. Let me read through some comments. I want to make sure I... Have you ever tried the David of Winston Churchill Late Hour? Had one last week and really enjoyed it. I did have one, but quite a while ago. I didn't review it, which is something I should. Late Hour is a bit stronger cigar, but it's great. It's an amazing cigar. So Michael, if that's one of your favorites, I totally get you and I support that. Late Hour is amazing cigar. It is a bit stronger though. Lately, I think recently, last week I smoked David of Yamasa. It was a recommendation from a friend and it was also an amazing cigar. It develops quite nicely throughout, but you need to kind of keep it warm all the time. I'm drinking Aperol Spritz. Sure you know what this is. Amazing for hot summer nights. Let me show you how it's burning unevenly. See this part here? It's probably because of the wind, because I'm holding it in the same direction all the time. I can even it out with a lighter, or I can just leave it and see if it evens out on its own, but I'm not bothered by that, at least not for now. Usually people who smoke cigars will tell you if you keep the ash on the cigar for a long time, that means that it's a great quality. Not sure if that's the fact or not. Probably it's the confirmation that it's been held at the right humidity in your humidor. So if it was in a proper environment, then the ash will probably hold up very well. And also if it's a long filler, right? If it's a short filler cigar, then it will just fall apart. Because long filler means that it has like leaves that go from the foot to the bottom, and at some points it's just, kept together. What I hate is when I get this ash in my lap, so I'm just gonna be laying it in my ashtray and let it break on its own so I can keep smoking. Somebody also posted something in the chat. What non-alcoholic beverages do you like to pair with your cigars? Great question. A lot of people will say that they like to smoke cigars with coffee, and that's true because coffee and cigars go really well. There's some vitolas that are like just like made to be had with a cup of coffee in the morning, right? So coffee is a great choice. I'm not big of a coffee drinker myself. My wife drinks coffee, and I just got used to drinking what she probably wouldn't call coffee just recently. I drink a latte macchiato with a lot of milk, right? So that's my coffee. So that's what I would smoke cigar with if I'm not having an alcoholic beverage. What I usually don't smoke cigars with is beer. Some people do, I don't. If I'm like really hot, if it's summer, I rather go with a simple cocktail like this one, or I would go with very cold rosé wine. I like that. But otherwise, I would just simply go with rum or cognac, maybe even before whiskey. I just got into tequilas lately. Friends bought me a bottle of tequila. It was anejo. I think it's called Loquita, and it's a limited edition. They produced 3,000 bottles, and I just tried it. It's anejo, so it's a bit like color is like rum, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So I just discovered tequilas. Are you guys hearing the music? Is it too loud? Can you hear me well? A small boat is coming here, so kids are going to board it. Still wood, still leather is coming back actually. Leather is coming back. A lot of leather now. A lot of leather and also coffee. You're probably asking yourselves, how can I tell coffee if I don't drink coffee? I know how coffee smells. I also know how it tastes. Sometimes I drink espresso when I'm at weddings. So in Europe or in Balkans or Croatia, and generally we have like weddings that tend to take like all night until 5 a.m. or so, and then somewhere around like 3 a.m. I like to get an espresso to refresh, not to fall asleep. See, this is now getting a bit unpleasant. So I'm just gonna even it out. No point in keeping it like that. Beautiful cigar. So one of my other hobbies is also watches. Very expensive hobby. My wife doesn't like it. But yeah, I don't know if you are following the watch community. I am. There's like this big story around the gray market dealers. One of them actually confessed that he is in debt $5 million, and that's now a big story on YouTube. I don't know. I made a video about this, and I felt kind of, sad for the guy because he was clearly falling apart. But yeah, I don't know anymore. People are bashing him all around. Anthony Farrer is his name, if you are familiar with the guy. I feel like the watch community, the popularity for luxury timepieces has gone up like in the skies in the last, 3 to 5 years. And great dealers had a lot to do with that. However, they are a layer that also made watch collecting not so good. Because why? Let me explain. So there's like one layer of watch brands, which is clearly the watchmakers, right? And they have their authorized dealers. They sell watches. They like to keep things for themselves. You never know what kind of line or watch they're going to be releasing, etc. Then there's like this gray dealer market who made these watches prices go through the roof. And then there's obviously like the watch community enthusiasts like myself who just enjoy watches and like them for what they are and like to collect them. However, what I'm bothered with is the gray market dealers created this flex culture, which is if you don't wear, Audemars Piguet or Patek Philippe or some Rolex, fancy Rolex, not even talking about the, Oyster Perpetual or things like that, which are like pure stainless steel models. So if you don't wear like a gold Rolex, then you're not like making it. Let's put it that way. You're not like a real collector. So you have to have the top shit. And this is the culture that they created. It's what they call a flex culture. You're flexing your cool, expensive watches. I hate that. That's not what watch collecting should be about, and what hobby of watch collecting should be about. So I'm bothered with that. Oh, and by the way, I'm wearing my Baume & Mercier Riviera. This is my recent purchase from June. Just amazing watch. And it's not, it's expensive, it's definitely expensive, but compared to Rolex or even some Omegas, it's not that pricey. A comment from Christian. I like watches, but the problem is money, of course. Can I ask what you do for work or how you can afford all the watches? Yes, I can share that with you. So YouTube, I do that just for fun. As you know, I'm a very small channel. I do that in my spare time as a hobby, just because I liked it, just because I like to talk about that stuff. And I'm not monetized. My channel is not monetized. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. I don't even have enough, watch hours that you need to have to qualify for monetization on YouTube. So that's not where I get my money from. Basically, what I'm working at is software development. So I work at a software development agency, but I'm not a developer. I'm not an engineer. I'm a VP of business development at a company. We have around 400 people now. I've been with the company for, this is my 11th year now, and basically I'm the point of contact for any client that wants to build a digital product. I have a team of, I think, 7 or 8 people now in Croatia, in London, in New York, and in Amsterdam. So, like I said, we have 400 people now across 7 or 8 countries, and we've been doing this for 18 years. When I joined the company, it was 20 people big. Now it's 400 people, and we're doing pretty well. We are doing pretty well. So yeah, I'm running the business development department, and I'm also part of the management group that runs the company. There's 10 of us. So this cigar, in terms of strength, it's playing between light and medium. And when it gets to medium, I almost tend to think that it's gonna get to very strong, but then it goes back to light again. In terms of flavors, like the very leathery notes are gone again, and it's again nuts and woods. Let me try the retrohale. I'm gonna explain what retrohale means in a second. So the retrohale is when you take a puff, you hold a smoke in your mouth, and then you slowly release it through your mouth, except for the last 30% of the smoke, you release that through your nose. And then that expands another palate for you, which gives you another maybe package of notes on your palate that you can maybe see or notice that you haven't noticed before if you were just exhaling through your mouth. So this one on a retrohale is very nutty, very nutty. A lot of hazelnut notes, which is not something that I can dominantly experience if I just exhale through my mouth. So guys who are watching the stream, are you based in the US, Europe? Where are you based? And basically my follow-up question would probably be, have you ever been to Mediterranean, Croatia maybe? If not, I definitely recommend visiting. Croatia has become a destination in the last, I would say, 5 years especially. If you Google Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, folks like that, a lot of celebrities during summers they come to Croatia for their vacations. Norway, Germany, you guys are familiar with Croatia then. We're probably going to be opening an office in Germany next year. So Munich is the spot for us, most likely. Yeah. My wife is also a fan of Scandinavia. I mean, Sweden. We haven't been to Norway. She's been to Sweden to visit her maid of honor. And yeah, she was impressed with people, with culture, with everything. Very, very clean country. I assume Norway is the same. Coatus is from northern Germany. Where from? Dortmund or somewhere near? Is Dortmund even considered North Germany? David of Nicaragua Robusto Cotus. You're smoking that right now? That's an amazing cigar also. Davidoff, like construction-wise, Davidoffs are top-notch. Never had a Davidoff that fell apart, wrapper or any part of it. Just amazing construction all the time. Dortmund is like middle Germany, okay. I'm glad you're enjoying your David of Nicaragua Robusta with me, Cotus. Your very first Davidoff. How do you like it, man? I'm enjoying this Monte Cristo White Edmundo very much. I think it might be a bit lighter in strength than the regular Edmundo. I wonder why. Haven't actually researched if they made any changes to the blend. I assumed no, but you know, with a wider ring gauge, you could probably get some, you know, different body. It's so beautiful out here. Yeah, what you describe is, yeah, it's exactly Nicaragua Robusta, yeah. Starts off a bit peppery, spicy, and then it tones down and other flavors start expanding. It's going to probably be on the medium side of strength throughout the whole smoke. Let me guys show you the picture in front of me right now. So this up here is a restaurant, and I think today they have a wedding ceremony. So somebody probably rented the restaurant and they have like a very intimate ceremony in there. I would expect them to kind of have the party going a bit later. And then this is the little part. Let me... Looks Italian. Yeah, it does a little bit. So Istria is the peninsula where I'm at, and it's very similar to Italy because it's actually connected to Italy over the Adriatic Sea. Right across the Adriatic Sea is Italy. Right there. You can see that, you know, the beautiful red sunset. The sun has just gone down into the sea. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just amazing. And actually, Istria is bilingual. It's bilingual, and they speak Italian and they speak Croatian here. I think that every Istrian resident who was born here, they know Italian. It's what they teach them in schools, in elementary schools. It's a bilingual region. Christian, I'm aware that in Scandinavia the summers are light. There's no night or dark. I'm aware of that. It's very similar in Sweden, so I heard. So like maid of honor, our friend, she's sending us pictures sometimes, like 2 a.m. It's still day outside, so you have to shut down your blinders on the windows if you want to go to sleep, right? It's pretty cool. But that also probably means that during the winter you probably also have like very dark days, or the dark falls, the night falls very early in the day, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Norway, very nice, very nice. You follow football? Is Holland pronounced Holland or Holland? I hear commentators different pronunciations. And winter is depressed. Come on, during winter time you should come to Croatian coast then. Never gets below 15 Celsius, I think. In northern part of the coast probably yes, but down in Dalmatia it's never colder than 15 degrees Celsius. Some creaminess in the cigar. The smoke is beautiful, just beautiful. Yeah, the nuts are getting very dominant. So I've been running this stream for almost an hour now. It's pretty cool. The time flies by when you're smoking a cigar and get to chat with people who are appreciating the same things. Did I go to the university? What did I study? Yes, I did. I did go to the university. I went to the Faculty of Organization and Informatics. That's the exact name. And you have like it's a 5-year university, so I'm basically the master's. It's what it's called, like the title is Masters of Informatics. But my course was a business one, so my major, how they would call it in the US, is Organization of Business Systems. And it was very good college. It's one of the best in Croatia, because it's in a smaller town. It's not in Zagreb, the capital, where most of the colleges and universities are. So they have like, I don't know, 200 or 300 back in the day when I was in college. They had like 200 or 300 students in a generation. So the professors, assistants, everyone. they get to really focus on students, and you're not just like a number, and they generally educate people. They really get to pay attention to each student, and that's how you can learn the most, I would say. I finished my college in 6 years though, so there was one yeah, there was 1 year that I didn't skip it, but like there was a mathematics that I didn't particularly like, so I kind of crossed it through to another year. So I extended my college for a year, and I also spent 6 months in the U.S. On a work and travel program, which was my dream growing up, to go visit U.S. and spend some time there. So that was very, very useful for to build the character and to see how I can, make it on my own in the world outside of the comfort zone. You graduated a year ago, Codis. Congrats, man. Congrats. So I assume you're also working then in computer science field. Say this again. It just keeps doing the same thing. I don't think it's due to the wind, because it's not really windy at all, but it's probably because like the part of the one leaf in the filler, which is used for burning, it's probably not equal on both sides. So that's why it's probably burning nicely on one side and burning terribly on another side. I'm gonna even it up again. Not perfect, but if there's anything that has to go wrong with the cigar that is bearable, then that's this. It's fine. I don't mind if that happens. Just even it up a little bit and keep smoking. I think I'm completely in the dark here. You probably can't see anything behind me, but at least you can see the cigar. It's beautiful. It's mellowing down. Usually the cigars with the wide ring gauge would tend to get hotter towards the end, but this one doesn't, which is amazing. Decent complexity to the cigar, very nice. I might do another live stream while I'm here in a few days, but maybe during the day, and maybe just walk around the island and see you guys and show you guys all the scenery. It's absolutely beautiful. Maybe from the other side of the island. It's a very small island. You can cross it in 10 minutes. Again, don't want to have this in my lap, so I'll just rest it in the ashtray and get this. Wish you could see the perfect white ash of the Davidoff of Nicaragua, so nice. I can pretty much imagine what it is because Davidoffs, they have the perfect burn line, always, always. Perfect construction on Davidoffs. Razor sharp, even, white ash, most cigars. Davidoffs are great. And they are not even, they're not expensive as Cubans because I think they pretty much kept their prices amidst this huge price increases with Cubans. Davidoffs pretty much stayed the same. So they're pretty much acceptable right now and great value for money. That's why most of my Cuban cigars that are in my humidor, I'm resting them and aging them and leaving them for some special occasions because they increased in price and I just want to kind of see how far it goes. What's your all-time favorite Vitola? It's probably Robusto. Robusto is just perfect. The thickness is 50 ring gauge, so I like fatter cigars. And then the length is 12.7 centimeters. That's like the standard, and it's my preferred one. I 80% of the time I would smoke Robustos. Sometimes if I'm like in the mood for a longer smoke, then I would go with Toro. Toro is the similar or the same ring gauge, also 50, but it's a bit longer. It's 15 centimeters. So it gives you another 15 to 20 minutes of smoke. And obviously complexity changes a little bit more throughout. So yeah, Toros would be the second one. If I'm smoking with, and my favorite cigar, that's a great question. I was kind of expecting that somebody would ask me that, and I didn't have the answer prepared because really depends on the time of the day, the company I'm with, if I'm joined on my own after lunch or after dinner. It's different. Also depends what I'm in the mood for. If I'm in the mood for a lighter cigar, then it would probably be Joya de Monterrey Epicure No. 2. If I'm in a mood for a bit, stronger cigar with a bit more body and complexity, Then my go-to is probably Partagas Serie D number 4. Classics, so classics. But every now and then I like to experiment with some regional editions that are harder to obtain, or some of the more expensive ones. But if there is one cigar that, if money was no object, and there's one cigar that I can smoke all the time, it would probably be Trinidad Vigía. I have 3 or 4 in my humidor left, and I'm saving it because right now Trinidad Vigía, the price is between 50 and 60 euros per stick, which is incredibly expensive, and it's too crazy. But that's my favorite. The complexity, the flavors, just perfect. And yeah, it's even better than Cohiba for me. Wow, this changed a little bit. Now I'm sensing some sweetness even. Nuts are also there, but sweetness. Very interesting. I didn't expect that from Edmundo, from Monte Cristo. Pretty cool. I'm getting to the final third of the cigar, so I'm gonna keep the stream running for another, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're gonna rate the cigar. I'm gonna leave the video uploaded on my channel for everyone else who wants to see it maybe later. Also, if I'm smoking a stronger cigar, always make sure that I smoke it on a full stomach. Never smoke it on an empty stomach. Even though I consider myself to be an experienced smoker, I sometimes still fall into trap of smoking a cigar which is stronger on an empty stomach, and it does get me fuzzy a little bit. You know, there is that nicotine kick that you can get, but that can all be fixed with, I don't know, drink a Coke or have some sort of a sugar like candy, something like that, to even the levels in your bloodstream. So usually when I reach the final third, if the cigar has a double band, I remove the first one. It's great if it comes off easy like this. Sometimes it's sticked to the wrapper, so you have to be careful not to ruin the wrapper. And then pull this one here. Some people like to remove their wrappers right away before they even light it up. You can do that. I prefer not to, because if you're holding it in your hand most of the time and not rest it on an ashtray, your fingers will stink a little bit. So I like to keep the band on just to kind of to hold it where the band is. Cool story. Do you know why they invented the bands? Years way back in history, the cigars were produced without bands, and then it was totally different era, and women and ladies who were smoking cigars, they were wearing gloves, and their gloves were mostly white, and then they would get the brownish color, and for that reason they invented bands so ladies could hold their cigars and not ruin their gloves. Fun thing I read somewhere. Can't remember which brand it was that invented it. I think it might be a Chapman. But don't hold me to the word. Let me get another drink. Može još jedan, molim te?
Da, još jedan.
Da.
Soba
2729.
2729, da. Prvo špic.
A prvo špic, da. Always due to the ladies, of course. Ladies rule the world. We just live in it, right? Yeah, bands look awesome. I like bands. They're colorful. There's a lot of like history that you can learn from the cigar, from the bands, because like the bands, like the emblems of the brands, they stayed the same throughout the years. They haven't changed much. So there's a lot of history in them, and that's why they look so good. And fun. Also the boxes. I enjoy boxes as well. Again, the same thing. This will affect the rating, of course, a little bit. This was the third time that I had to even it up. But not a big deal. As long as the wrapper stayed solid, which it did. One thing I also like to do, if I don't feel like holding the cigar in my hand the whole time, with this little tool, there's this little part. It's called a cigar holder, basically. So you stick the cigar, you basically punch it here, and then you just can rest it without holding it in your hand. Voila. Like this. Može? Hvala. Won't stick up your fingers if you do it like this. Christian says, I have a Petit Edmundo in my humidor. I will also get myself White Edmundo to try it. Sure, go ahead, man. Petit Edmundo is nice, small Vitola. And I would assume a bit punchy, but go for it. Try it, and then try White Edmundo too, and then compare them. It's most likely the same blend, but you will probably get different flavors out of it because it will develop differently. You can see yourself smoke a cigar like that. I don't usually do it often. I do it very rarely. I just wanted to show you guys how it works. It's convenient if you have a table in front of you and you can just let it rest on the table like that. Yeah, not many changes in the final third. So still getting plenty of wood. Codis is asking, I fly to Italy in October. Sorry. Do you guys know how the rules are regarding bringing cigars and equipment into the airplane? Good question. I think equipment-wise, you have to make sure, if we're talking lighters, you have to make sure that the lighter is yellow flame, so not the blue flame. And I think they will let you in the plane with that. In terms of cutters, I would assume that there are no issues with that. And then, yeah, cigars, obviously, you can take them with you. Yeah, a friend of mine was traveling to, I don't know where, but he confirmed that you can take the yellow flame lighter into the plane, but not the torch one, the blue flame. Just noticed that they lit up this tree behind me. Lit up. They didn't light it up. They just turned on some blue lighting. I'm assuming you mean your hand luggage, not your checked luggage, because you're probably not going to be checking any luggage in the plane, but the one that you want to bring on the plane with you. So yeah. Reaching towards the end of the cigar, so I'm gonna be ending the stream as well. I want to thank you guys for joining. I hope it was fun for you as well, as much as it was for me. Like I said in the beginning, this was my first stream ever. So yeah, I hope I get to do this a bit more in the future too, depending on my work as well. Like I said, I don't do YouTube for any kind of income, just for fun. So when I'm able to do a live stream, I will. I maybe do one again in a few days while I'm still here. And yeah, thanks for keeping me company. It was very fun. Oh yeah, I forgot, I have to rate the cigar. Bearing the smaller difficulties with the burn, which doesn't take much from the rating, I would say very enjoyable, very complex, not strong. Flavors that I usually like. 4.8. 4.8. I would say 4.8. Let's go with 4.8 for Monte Cristo Wide Edmunda. Do I have Instagram? Yes, I have Instagram account as well. I post quite frequently on Instagram, a few times a week. It's also called Aficionado Space. So yeah, I'm sure you won't have any issues finding it. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you in a few days. Enjoy your evening and see you soon. Bye.